we're going to go straight to the New York Rangers here. They were second in the Metro with a 52-24-6 record, which is 110 points. Fourth in the Eastern Conference and seventh in the league. Head coach is Gerard Gallant. So the players they lost was Justin Brown to the Flyers, Andrew Kopp to the Red Wings, Greg McKegg to the Oilers.
Sick last name.
Right.
Kevin
Rooney to the Flames, Ryan Strome to the Ducks, Frank Vetrano to the Ducks, their big goalie, Alexander Georgiev, to the Avalanche, and Patrick Nemeth to the Coyotes. They signed Capo Caco to 2 years, who resigned. They signed Louis Domingue, 2 years from the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's going to be the third string. And they signed Yaroslav Halak 1 year from the Canucks. He's going to be the backup. Vincent Trocheck to a big 7-year contract, and Ryan Carpenter to a 1-year contract from the Flames. Their off-season trades, Rangers traded Alexander Georgiev to the Colorado Avalanche in exchange for a 3rd and 5th round pick in 2022 and 3rd round pick in 2023. Those picks were Bryce McConnell-Barker from the Sioux Greyhounds OHL, and that 5th round pick was Maxim Barbashev from the Moncton Wildcats from the Quebec Major Juniors. The Rangers also traded Patrick Nemeth, a 2nd round pick in 2025 and an optional draft pick in 2024 or 2026 to Arizona in exchange for Ty Emberson from the Tucson Roadrunners AHL, also not on the team roster here. So, how do we feel about this? I like the Rangers. I love the Rangers, but I feel like as of late, not looking good. Shesterkin was the only one literally on his fucking head last season.
I don't know. I kind of really like the Kreider effect. Jacob Trouba can throw it around.
Adam Fox.
I think this is the team that is the most well-rounded looking. I think they're built 5 to 10 year ago hockey team. And that could be their downfall because of all the speed in the NHL.
Yeah.
But they do have those guys out there like Sammy Bly can throw it, Ryan Reeves, those type of players that'll just slow you up offensively. Mm-hmm. And I think Yaroslav Halak coming into backfield for Georgiev, honestly, he's not a Georgiev, obviously, but I think that he is that kind of goalie that can come into a new organization, and it doesn't really change anything for him. He'll just come in, do his job, and go home. And I think Shesterkin's going to step up this season.
Yeah.
Step up. How can he go... How can you go higher from Vezina Trophy kid?
Yeah.
See, I'm to me that this is the best, to me the best team in the Metro. I mean, I just think they've been on the rise for a few years now. They've done an excellent job drafting and developing players, and Kreider and Zibanejad had monster years last year.
Yeah.
Panarin becomes the second liner, and he's still at the towards the end, but still in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
I think Trocheck is a really nice addition to add depth to your forward group. I mean, there's question marks with guys like Capo Caco and Lafreniere. They haven't quite hit their ceiling. I feel like, especially Lafreniere. Obviously, I think if I remember right, he was in and out of the lineup at times last year as a healthy scratch.
Which is nuts to see him on the first line still,
I know, right? But I think this team has a lot of potential, and I think, again, they've done a really good job building it. They didn't really lose anyone. You look at, you talk about the guys they lost. Georgiev is probably the biggest, notable guy, and he was the backup.
Right.
But he and Shesterkin were an excellent tandem. So I wouldn't count this team out. I think they're going to be right there at the top of the division.
Still there.
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't think
one thing I want to jump back to too. You said they're probably one of the best team in the Metro, and as good as that sounds, that's really not that great. There's no competition in the Metro, So it's I don't know. Let's see how it holds up against the rest of the teams in the East, right?
Yeah.
What do you think so?
Well, see, I think the Metro is a lot deeper than I think you're giving it credit for.
Okay.
I mean, we'll talk about it
Yeah,
obviously, but I think
we're 2 in, so
there's a lot of teams that are going to be vying for at least for those top 3 spots and probably for a couple wild card spots as well.
I just feel like this team and the Hurricanes team are the two teams that stand a good gap above the rest of the Metro. That's just my take on it.
Okay.
That's funny.
Flyers fans here.
Yeah, right.
Oh no.
All right, so we're going to start with the roster here. The forwards are Sammy Bly, who's actually returning from injury. He only played 14 games last season. Ryan Carpenter, Philip Hedl, Barclay Goudreau, Capo Caco, Vitaly Kravtsov. So this name came up when we talked about him last year. This is the player who refused to be sent down to the AHL last season, told everyone to screw off, and jumped over to the KHL. And they're just like, yeah, let's sign this guy who fucking dusted us. And so
He's got heart.
He's got heart.
grit.
Yeah. So he
wants it.
He recorded 6 goals and 7 assists for the Chelyabinsk Tractor in the KHL. Your favorite team, the
Choo-choo.
Tractors. Choo-choos. Our boy Chris Kreider, Alex Lafreniere, Artemi Panarin, Ryan Reeves, Vincent Trocheck, Mika Zibanejad. For the defensemen, we have Adam Fox, Zach Jones, Ryan Lindgren, Keandre Miller, Braden Schneider, Jacob Trouba, and goalies Igor Shesterkin and Yaroslav Halak. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have some depth there. They definitely have the guys. I did this too, which is the worst part, and I totally forgot about Adam Fox. You were talking about guys. I'm like, oh, that's right, Adam Fox is on this team.
Yep.
How the fuck did I forget about that?
He is the guy on this
He
team.
is
Well,
the guy.
I think it's him between him and Kreider. I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For like the guy. Zibanejad is such a good player, but he's so like
He's unbelievable.
under the radar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not taking the spotlight.
No.
You know, like the Panarin high kick. Like that
Yep.
guy's spotlight central. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
No, this team is a really deep D score. I mean, you talk about like this. Their top 4D is the kind of top 4D you'd want to build. You got Trouba back there with some size and some grit. Lindgren can play a tough game as well, and I think the Bruins miss having lost out on that trade, the Rick Nash trade from years ago, is how they got Lindgren. But Fox is a perennial Norris candidate at this point. Keandre Miller has turned into a really solid defenseman, and I don't know much about the guys in the third pair, but having a top 4 like that is really helps you go a long way.
All right, 100%. And you got Chris Kreider here, who had 52 goals last season, which put him 3rd in the league. So, big guy here, Chris Kreider. So, yeah, they're looking good. Sammy Blake coming back. I wonder how he's going to go. You miss like almost a full season here, and you kind of throw him back into the Wolves here. See, some guys can do it. Some guys can miss a whole season, go right back to it, and some guys will come back and not be warmed up to it,
Yeah.
I think he's another guy that'll get a little leash in getting back into it too. Like he's not one of those guys that are looked at under a microscope. Like he has his role, his job to do, and if he gets the job done, no one's really thinking about it.
Yeah.